I've already started Vlogmas and I didn't realise. What was I thinking? Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie. Today's book is Trust Me by TM Logan. I've read a couple of TM Logan books before and I love his books. I love his books, they are so clever. So this is the front cover of the book. Let's get straight in with that blurb, shall we? Two strangers, a child, and a split second choice that will change everything. Ellen was just trying to help a stranger. That was how it started. Giving a few minutes respite to a flustered young mother sitting opposite her on the train. A few minutes holding her baby while the mother makes an urgent call. The weight of the child in her arms making Ellen's heart ache for what she can never have. 5 minutes pass. 10. The train pulls into a station and Ellen is stunned to see the mother hurrying away from the platform without looking back, leaving her baby behind. Ellen is about to raise the alarm when she discovers a note in the baby's bag. 3 desperate lines scrawled hastily on a piece of paper. Please protect Mia. Don't trust the police. Don't trust anyone. Why would a mother abandon her child to a stranger? Ellen is about to discover that the baby in her arms might hold the key to an unspeakable crime, and doing the right thing might just cost her everything. This is a very, very fast-paced book. It just felt so quick, everything happening, and so much happens in this book. It's 432 pages in crime, thriller, detective, and family saga. Where do I start? Yeah. Ellen's on the train, she's on her way home from a fertility appointment where she's found out that she can't have children. She is now divorced from her husband, her ex-husband. They spent so long trying to have a baby together that they never quite realised the marriage falling apart. And then Ellen comes to the point when all she wants to be is a mother, and she doesn't recognise the fact that her life is falling apart around her and that her husband is getting further and further away from her as her dream for becoming a mother just takes over her life, basically. You find out that she's tried to go through IVF, she's lost babies, she's had miscarriages. That side of the story is really, really heartbreaking, and if that is a trigger for you, that kind of thing in regards to loss and miscarriages, stillborn, that kind of thing, do your research. Try to work out if you are able to sit through this or not. I did find this very, very gripping, this story. Every single time I put it down, I didn't actually want to put it down. It was very quick for me to read this, and I finished reading this at a shift at the theatre in a show that wasn't actually that long. But yeah, that show was about an hour and 40 minutes all the way through, and that was how long it took me to finish this book when I was about halfway through. So I think it took me about 4 hours to read this book. I was just completely obsessed with where it was going to go. But yeah, so you meet Ellen on the train, and then you see a woman sit next to her at the table, Catherine, and you see Ellen's kind of mind working as she's there, kind of falling in love with the child, Mia, and she's just so desperate to hold her. So when Catherine says, oh, will you just hold her for a minute while I take this phone call, Ellen is in a place just like, oh, I could easily just walk off this train with her, and then she stops herself. She's that kind of fantasy that she kind of has playing out in her mind. But then the moment that she realises that Catherine has got off the train and is walking past the window, she's just like, wait, what? What's happening? This wasn't me, this was her. She gave me the child, she took a phone call, and now she is walking past the window just saying sorry. And so Ellen kind of goes into like, what do I do next? So she's just like, maybe it was a mistake, and maybe I need to get off at the next stop and alert somebody. There's a point where she's just like, do I need to tell somebody on the train? But at the same time, there's a creepy man across the way that's kind of been staring at her and the baby for quite a while. So she's just like, I don't want to bring any more attention to this at the moment, just because of the creepy guy. But when she gets off the train, she wants to kind of alert the police at the train station. But then there's lots of hooligans around, and so she goes, actually, I don't want to be in this place right now. She just wants to get herself and the baby out of the way of all the football hooligans, which makes sense, you know. You've got all these little things that are, where she's going, oh, maybe it's not such a good idea to tell this person or this person. There's so many things kind of stopping her from going through the proper channels. But then when she does get off the train and she gets out of the way of the football hooligans, she wants to go to the police there, but they're taking care of the football. I can't, a million times I've said hooligans. But yeah, they're taking care of that situation. So she's just like, I'm not going to bother them when they've got something else on their hands. So in this case, I'm just going to get in a taxi and go to the police station. And then it's when she's on the way to the police station in the taxi that the baby Mia starts crying, and she's just there going, well, I've changed you, I've done all this, what else could be, you know, what else do I need to do here? And then she's like, oh, the baby's hungry. So she gets the taxi guy to stop outside a cafe where she goes in and she feeds the baby before taking it to the police station, because she's just there going, I can't let this child starve. You know, she's got that instinct within her to protect the child anyway, despite the letter that tells her to protect her and not trust anybody. But yeah, but it's when she comes out of the cafe that she and the child are kidnapped before she can get to the police station. And that's where everything just goes into what the hell is going on. And I felt frustrated for Ellen because nobody talks to her. Nobody talks to her about what's happening. They all just assume that she knows something. And it's just like, she was handed a baby by a stranger on the train. That doesn't mean she knows the ins and outs of everybody else's lives. So, I mean, Ellen kind of turns into a bit of a detective of herself, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. She does eventually get to the police and she hands the baby over and she explains everything that she's gone through. And then the police are there going, you were the last person seen with the baby. Catherine's gone missing now. She's officially a missing person. And Ellen was the last person seen with the child on CCTV. So then they go down this bizarre avenue of thinking that Ellen kidnapped the child. But that still doesn't explain why Catherine went missing. And yeah, it got to the point where I just felt really, really frustrated for Ellen, because I was just like, the police are just acting like idiots here. And by the time that she does get to the police station, she is covered in cuts and bruises. She's done everything she can to protect the child while she was kidnapped. And she's got this, it's like she's been thrust into this really horrible situation where just nobody's communicating with each other. And the title of Trust Me just applies to everyone, because she really doesn't know who to trust. The only person she can really trust is her best friend, who she stays with when her house is broken into. And the amount of little red herrings and things that are dotted about to make you think, oh, is he involved? Are they involved? And it's just, oh, it's a big mess. But in the world of this book, it's like an organised mess that Ellen has just been thrown into the middle of because of how she got involved, because Catherine gave her Mia on the train. Oh, yeah, it was a frustrating read, but when I got to the end and you find out, like, everything, and I was just like, there were so many hints kind of dropped about why the police shouldn't be trusted and why she shouldn't trust other people. So when that final twist happened, I was just there thinking, oh, I should have seen it coming. I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. I'm sure there'll be other people there who probably did figure it out, because it's like rule number one that I have when it comes to watching like the crime and thriller shows. Like, there's a murder mystery, I have rules in regards to trying to figure stuff out. Like, oh, that's a famous person playing that part, they haven't really been seen much, is it possible they did it? That's what I'm like when I'm like watching TV series. And when it comes to books, a lot of the time I'm just there thinking, oh, there's somebody who we haven't really, you know, we're aware of them, but we haven't really heard that much about them. This does break the rules slightly, but it's the way it's twisted. It's the way it's twisted on you. But can you tell I really enjoy this? It was lots of different puzzle pieces. And to be fair, there were points when it did feel like it was just like different puzzles, but it's not. It's one giant puzzle and everything is connected. When it jumps forward and you realise the people she's still in contact with after everything, there was a point when I was just thinking, what? I know that she cares about the baby, but after everything that she went through, I feel like she should have stepped away. I really do feel like she should have stepped away after everything, because even though she was thrust into the situation by Catherine on the train, I feel like she should have closed that chapter. And at the end, she doesn't really. some people might say it's kind of a nice way to kind of wrap it up, but I felt it was just a bit too much. I feel like she should have been extracted herself from the whole situation after everything. But yeah, the unravelling of everything as you go through, my brain almost exploded. I just had so much information going in. I was just there going, but wait, what? I'd get to the end of the chapter and I'd be genuinely confused as to what was happening. When she does get into with the police, and you're just there going, is she supposed to trust them? Because she's been told not to trust them, and we don't know why she's not supposed to trust them. And then there's so many little things just saying, oh, don't trust Detective Holt. You know, there's is it Gilbourne and Holt who are working together, and there's so many little things just telling you that Holt isn't to be trusted. And I'm just there going, I don't know what to believe. The claw. Yeah, there was so much where I was just like, I think the title of Trust Me is just such a perfect thing, because so many people are telling to trust her, and then at the same time she has been told not to trust anybody, and she needs to figure out who she can trust, because the fact is, in this, as I said, the only person she can trust is her best friend, who tries to look out for her. Everybody else has their own agenda. Everybody. And I mean, when you get to the end, you understand why she was left out of the loop so much, because of like what was going on, what was happening, and who was involved, which does add a little bit more to the frustration, to be honest. But yeah, it was just so ridiculous, but so fabulous, and it was just hard work putting it all together. And yeah, the majority of this book, I just felt so frustrated for Ellen about how she was put into this situation, and the fact that nobody will be honest with her. And even at the end, when you're just like, oh, but technically he was being honest with her, and you're just there going, but no, nobody really was. Even that when she was kidnapped, and they were just saying, oh, I can't believe you're on your way to the police and stuff, and when she finally does escape, and trust me, the kidnapping is fairly early on, so it's not much of a spoiler really. It was hard work to read. And so many times I get to the end of a chapter and just think, what is happening? What is going on? How is this going to unravel? And how is everything connected? And yeah, it's hard work, but it's worth it in the end. It really is worth it in the end. But yeah, that's Trust Me by TM Logan. There's your front cover. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye everybody.